Okay, so I want to run through these answers really quick. You can check yours, make sure you have everything right. Okay, so everybody ready? So number 7, we did 7, 8, 11, 12, 22, 23. Put this first one at the top. And this is a little bit of a review for your quiz today, right? So this is hair shaft. Hair shaft. I'm going on the left side over here. So these are the 3 layers, the epidermis, dermis. No, the hair shaft is the visible part outside of the skin, and the hair follicle will actually be down here. The hair follicle will be around the hair root where the hair is starting to grow. Okay, down in the dermis. And then we have hypodermis is this one. So yeah, on your quiz you have to do a labeling. It's just like the one that was on your 5I51 worksheet, but this is some of the stuff here. Yeah, it is matching actually. Okay, and then this bottom thing, hypodermis is also known as a subcutaneous layer, by the way. And then we have, this is pointing at the coiled tubes are sweat glands. Okay. And now I'll go back and work over here on the right side. This top layer here, this is the top layer of the epidermis, which is the stratum corneum. All right. And then they're pointing to the lowest layer, which would be the stratum germinativum. Or also known as Basali. All right. This is pointing to a gland that's attached to the side of a hair. Think of a gland associated with hair. Think of oil. That is called sebaceous. This is a muscle that's attached to the hair follicle. It's called the erector pili. This is just pointing to nerve fibers. This is pointing to the very bottom. This is called the hair papilla. Okay, so this is where the new cells for the hair are being made. And this is just pointing to adipose tissue, fat. Okay. The diagram will look like the one on your worksheet. Yeah, that 5I51. It's exactly like that, as a matter of fact. So there are some things on that for the quiz that are not on here, like blood vessels come to mind. What else was on there? Is everybody good with this? Okay, so number 8, the two things that happen for superficial cells of the epidermis becoming less viable and ultimately die is because they become packed with keratin. tough fibrous protein makes it hard for the cell to do its normal functions. And then the second one is the fact that as they move up in the epidermis, the nutrient source for the epidermis is the dermis down below because it has blood vessels. The epidermis does not. So as they move up, they move farther from their nutrient source. So that is 7 and 8. Number 10, BTW, while you're going by it. Oops. Number 10, we're not going to be doing it all. We are going to do number 9. All right, so 11 was the next thing to do. And so 11 should go CAC, BCAB. C, A, C, B, C, A, B. If that makes sense. So melanin is most responsible for the skin color of dark-skinned people. Carotene with a C. So remember, do not mix up carotene with a C with the tough fibrous protein called keratin with a K. This is carotene, like carrots. Carrots are orange. So is this pigment. All right, melanin is a natural sunscreen, but it can't do everything. That's why we have to use actual sunscreen. You see, hemoglobin, we're kind of talking about how blood affects skin color. All right, so Caucasians, lighter skin, hemoglobin. All right, C is melanin for number 5. Number 6, found predominantly in the stratum corneum, is the pigment keratin, whereas melanin is deeper. If you remember that, the melanocytes are actually in the stratum germinativum. That's where the melanin is being produced. I believe that's a quiz question. Number 7, found within red blood cells, hemoglobin again. Okay. Good. You doing all right back there, champ? Is everybody good with this? Can I erase it? And number 12. Radiation from the skin surface and evaporation of sweat are 2 ways in which the skin helps to get rid of body heat. Fat in the blank tissue layer beneath the dermis. Well, beneath the dermis is going to be the hypodermis or subcutaneous tissue layer. Number 3, a vitamin that is manufactured in the skin, vitamin D. Talked about that. That was one of the pros of sun exposure. And wrinkling of the skin is caused by loss of the elasticity. A decubitus ulcer is actually a bed sore. Sorry, you might have had to look that up. When they're deprived of oxygen from the pressure. And the bluish cast of the skin, that is called cyanosis. That was on your related clinical terms, I'm pretty sure. All right, so on to 22 and 23. So 22, fill in the type of skin cancer that matches each of the following descriptions. So number 1 is going to be squamous cell carcinoma. Cells of the lowest level of the epidermis invade the dermis and hypodermis. Exposed areas develop ulcers, slow to metastasize. It's going to be basal cell carcinoma. That is the most common. And the third one we did, the pigment producing cells would be melanocytes. This is going to be the malignant melanoma. What does ABCD mean in reference to examination of pigmented areas? So you get a spot on your skin. It's just an acronym to remember the different things. So is it asymmetric? B is for, does it have a regular, like, wavy borders on the side of it? C is for, is it multi-colored? And D is about how big is it, the diameter. And that does it.